Hello everybody and welcome along to today's online masterclass, 5 Surefire Strategies to Your Sleep Success. And I am absolutely so excited. Really, I'm so excited that you're joining me today because you're in for an absolute treat. There is so much information that I'm going to be sharing with you on this live call today. And I do encourage you to get a pen and a piece of paper if you do want to take some notes. Now, this will be available on a replay as well if you want to catch up on some of the information. Sometimes it's good to go back over the call again to recap on some of the tips. So just before we start, I want to acknowledge you for being here tonight because you know what? We are all very busy. We all have things that are going on in our lives, and you've taken time out from your busy schedule to be here with me on this call tonight. So I just want to really acknowledge you and thank you for doing that and been here on the call with me this evening. Now, this webinar is for you if you have read all the books that there is out there about sleep and you did everything that you're supposed to do and it didn't work. So you'd be surprised, and there is a reason, probably more than likely, why that didn't work for you. Maybe you're exhausted and you're exhausting yourself too, and it still failed miserably. Or maybe you just want to know what it is you need to do to get a good night's sleep. Or you're sick and tired of always being sick and tired. Now, this webinar is not for you if you don't enjoy getting a good night's sleep regularly, and you would be surprised there are people out there who do not prioritize their sleep and they don't appreciate a good night's sleep. Maybe you're not prepared to make any changes to your sleep habits and your routines. Or maybe you just rather wait for your own sleep routine just to come back on its own. Or maybe you're just not interested in getting a ton of free, fantastic, great sleep advice followed by an offer. Just a few webinar logistics before we begin. The very first thing that I will ask you is to please, if you can, turn off your mobile phones. And really, this is just because we want this hour to be for you. We don't want any distractions, and we all know how easily mobile phones can distract us. So please just put your phone on silent or turn it off, or just put it away just for the next hour or so. So some webinar logistics before we begin. And the first thing that I will ask you is if you can please just turn your mobile phones on silent for the next hour to hour and a half. Just turn your mobile phones on silent or put it away, because we all know how mobile phones can be so distracting. So this is your hour, and I really do want you to focus on the information that I do have at hand for you. It's super important, and we need to turn off the mobile phones in order to have focus. So some logistics, I was just saying, I'm going to be presenting for about 45 minutes. There will be a Q&A at the end, so do find the chat box there and type in any questions that you do have along the way. Or if you have any comments, type them into the chat box. That would be great. Now, if anything happens in the webinar as we are going along, just wait for a few moments. Sometimes it could be an internet connection problem, or you could log off and just log back on again. That sometimes resolves it as well. But I think we are in good order here, and hopefully there shouldn't be any problems. Now, what you're going to get out of this call, so you're going to get 100% crystal clear on why sleep is so important. It is unbelievable the amount of people that don't really know why sleep is so important or what it is that happens to us when we're sleeping at nighttime. So I'm going to reveal all of that for you this evening. And I'm going to give you 5 strategies as well that you can use, that you can implement to start getting a great night's sleep. And it will work even if you haven't had a full night's sleep in a long time. And you will get real insight into what it takes to get yourself sleeping so that you can have the best night's sleep that you've only ever dreamed of. And my promise to you is that you are going to walk away this evening with some actionable steps. So I'm going to give you some steps that you can actually do to implement all this and to start getting a really good night's sleep. Now, this is a quote, a lovely quote that I often share with people. Sleep is that golden chain that ties health and our bodies together. It's Thomas Dekker. And the reason why I love this quote in relation to sleep is actually one of our lifestyles. We know the food that we eat, exercise, all that does help us to have an optimal, healthy life and overall health. Well, sleep is actually a healthy lifestyle as well. And in my opinion, sleep is actually the underlying foundation to all of our different lifestyles, are the food that we eat and the exercise that we take. And, for an example, when you exercise and you're trying to lose weight, if you're not sleeping well, the majority of your weight loss will be coming from lean muscle mass when you are sleep deprived. So we do actually need sleep to optimize our exercise routines and what we're eating as well. So sleep is really, really, really important. So just a little quick bit about myself. I am an author, public speaker, an entrepreneur, and a mum. And I'm the author of How to Get a Good Night's Sleep. And I won a Microbiz Award in 2016, and I was a finalist as well in the Women in Business, and also the Microbiz in 2018 as well. Now, I've appeared several times on radio, and I was on TV, newspapers, and magazines as well. Now, I am married, and really where I got into this work was just after we decided to have a baby together. And I did already have a son at this stage, and it was an abusive situation. So I was not very keen on having another baby because that was my only experience. So of course, when you're married, one of the purposes of being married is to have a family. So I did seek help. And after a couple of years, I decided, and I felt safe and comfortable having a baby. So I left my job after 17 years, and I moved to Athy with my husband, and we bought our dream house, and we got pregnant, which was brilliant. We were absolutely over the moon. Now, the baby was due in December, and just before Christmas, and my family were all away in Australia. My brother was getting married at the same time, so it was great excitement in our family. But on the day that our baby was due, she died. It was a cord accident, just a simple cord accident. But it was right on the day that she was due, and on the day that we buried her was the day that my brother in Australia was married. So it was just a massive impact. And of course, it took me a long time to get over it. The death of a loved one is a very traumatic thing, and even for a child, it's very traumatic. And in my case, where I had that abusive situation with my first child, it was impacting it even more. And the fact that I'd done so much work around it. So naturally enough, the next couple of years was very difficult. And during the course of those few years, I started asking myself questions. Why me? Why did this happen to me? And this was going on for a long time. And eventually people start coming into my life who began to help me. And I met this one spiritual lady, and she really helped me to see myself again. She really helped me to love myself again. And I done some phenomenal work with her, and I was absolutely blown away by the power of how our mind works and how powerful we are as individuals, as human beings. And if we really want to do something, and we believe in it with our hearts, and really have passion around it, we can achieve anything. And so this brought me on to doing other therapy work like massage and reflexology, Reiki, and I loved it. And I started seeing clients, and I absolutely loved it. And then I met my mentor, Pat Slattery, and he said, "Joanne, you've got to write a book and really show your knowledge." So I wrote How to Get a Good Night's Sleep. And the reason why I wrote about sleep was because I found an awful lot of my clients had difficulty sleeping. So that's the reason why I wrote the book on sleep, because I believed at the time it would reach a lot of people, because there is an awful lot of people who are not sleeping enough. We're not resting enough, even during the daytime, never mind sleeping enough. We're always on the go. And it is vitally important that we do get the rest and the sleep that we need for lots of reasons. So that's why I wrote the book. And since then, I've gone on to write programs. So I do online training and I do public speak, and I joined Toastmasters as well along the way to help me with that. And I do online training, as I said, and seminars and talks, corporate talks, all about sleep and how it can dramatically improve your life, your mental health, your physical health, all sorts of situations, your cognitive function, everything. There's not one bodily process in the body that doesn't benefit from a good night's sleep. So I am really passionate about educating and inspiring people and empowering people, because at the end of the day, you can read all these books, and it doesn't make any difference. And that is because you need to do something about it. You need to actually take some of these nuggets that you've learned and apply it. And really, that's what's going to empower you to make a change, because we're all individuals and we're all different, and we all have different things that we prefer to do, that we like to do, or that works better for each one of us. So that's why it's important that you are empowered to find what it is that you like, but to inspire you, to educate you and inspire you, so that you can understand why this is so important as well. So this is really all about helping you take back control of your life, of your health and your overall happiness as well, not just for yourself, but for your family, the people that you work with, all the people that are around you, because ultimately we are human beings, and one of our human needs is to relate to each other and to contribute to the world, and to have a sense of belonging with each other as well. So it's really important that we feel good, and that we're not depressed and full of anxiety, because who wants to be around those kind of people when it's a very difficult situation. I know there are a lot of people that suffer with anxiety and depression, but isn't it such a wonderful place to be, with empowering, really bright people who are, in great form and very positive thinking and optimistic. So that's ultimately when a good night's sleep is going to get you into that better state of mind, a higher frequency as well. So we're going to go through lots of stuff that's going to help you to achieve that. Now, here's some people that I've worked with along the way, or that I've met along the way that have helped me. Gloria and Giovanelli, I spoke on stage with her. Lovely lady. Colin O'Brien, Alec Drew, Pat Starry is my mentor there, Brian Tracy, Donna Kennedy, and the Women in Business. So there's lots of people that I've met along the way, and really this is all about, I wouldn't be here today where I am if I didn't get help from these people, and that's what it's all about, contribution. And here's some places that I'm associated with, or some of the radio interviews that I've done. I am working with Tracy Repchuk at the moment, who is absolutely phenomenal. She is based in the States, and she is probably the number one digital and marketing strategist over there. So I'm working with Tracy now in the last just over a year now, and I'm delighted to be on her program. Now, my mission is to help empower as many people as I can to sleep better and to live a happier and a healthier life. And that is ultimately what my mission is. Now, the strategies that we're going to do tonight. So you are going to learn understanding sleep, why it's so important to understand sleep, and why it is so vital for our survival. We're going to be having a look at the impact of stress. So what happens in the body that prevents us from sleeping when we're stressed, because this does have a big impact on us, how we are during the daytime. And stress contributes to a whole myriad of different processes in the body and in the brain, and that can be very detrimental over a period of time as well. It can be, you can see the effects on the day, but over a long period of time as well as even more effects. And the low grade stress in particular, so this is the everyday stress that we experience. So I'm going to share that with you. We're going to share how sleep works, so a little bit about the science of sleep. And I'm going to show you the framework basically of how sleep works during the nighttime. So what happens in the brain, our brainwave activity, all the different stages of sleep, the different cycles. So it's important to kind of understand that as well. Some sleep problems. So what if you have other issues as well that maybe interfere with you getting a sleep at nighttime? So there's lots of those that are going on. So sometimes it might not necessarily be a health issue. It could be your sleeping partner. So we're going to have a look at a few different things there. And then your environment, of course. So how your everyday environment can negatively affect your sleep, and what simple changes you can do that can make a massive difference to getting asleep at night and staying asleep throughout the night as well. So that's really an important one, one that I get an awful lot from people. They find they wake up an awful lot during the night time and then they can't get back asleep again. So we're going to be looking at all these things and looking at strategies and how you can improve. So understanding sleep. So in order to do anything well, we must first understand the process. You see, when a process is not understood or controlled, it creates problems. And the bottom line really is that you can't effectively and efficiently control or improve a process that you don't understand. So lack of process understanding leads to delayed schedules and ineffective routines and basically a busy mess. And also, you must take into account your environment or your external, all that's going on around you outside as well, and how that's contributing or impacting the process as well. So it's like driving a car. So if you remember when you took your first driving lessons, you were shown the different parts of the car, so the mechanics of the car. Okay. So sorry about that. I was just checking something there on the computer. So you were shown all the mechanics of the car when you started driving the car, and you were shown what the purpose of them were and how we work them or manage them effectively. And for example, so the clutch enables us to change gears. We looked at the brake, the accelerator. You learned all about these when you started to drive. So when the car is started, we must first put the car in gear before we can move off, and when it's safe to do so. And that would be our environment, if you like. So we need to check our environment around us, and there is a process. So we must also maintain our car as well. So we don't want to get our car, we don't want to let it overheat. And we get a service regularly as well. So you service your car. So now that we understand the controls and how to look after our car and how to make it run more smoothly and for longer, um, so now we have a new perspective. It's like looking at it through new filters. We have a new perspective. And now we can appreciate and understand the different controls. Well, it's the same with sleep. Most people think sleep is just for resting and enable you to have more energy for the next day. It's really a boring subject because, well, you just sleep at night time. You don't know anything else where you're knocked out, you're unconscious, and you don't remember very much of it. And when you recognize and realize this process, you will accept why sleep is so important. And when you understand the processes of sleep, the mechanics and the purpose of each different process of sleep and the benefits, it's going to open up a whole new perspective. And when you understand the risks involved to your health and your well-being when you are sleep deprived, you will start to see a new purpose with all this knowledge. And there is one quality which one must possess to win, and that is definiteness of purpose, the knowledge of what one wants, and the burning desire to possess it. That's Napoleon Hill. So that really nicely reflects what I'm trying to put across here. So if you want to achieve successfully a good night's sleep and optimize your sleep, you need to know the knowledge. And in order to take action, you need to actually do something. You need to take action, and you need to have a passion. You need to have a desire to achieve this as well. So let's look at perspective. So what is your perspective? Now, this is an actionable step that you can do. So if you ask yourself now, how do you see sleep? What's your opinion or what's your idea of sleep? Do you think it's necessary? What's your attitude towards sleep? How do you think about something will determine how much time you're going to give it and how well you're going to do it as well? Now, there was different people throughout the ages as well who had their own perspectives on sleep. Thomas Edison, for example, he invented the light bulb and he thought sleep was a waste of time and he done very little of it. And then there was Margaret Thatcher. And we know Margaret Thatcher, she prided herself on just getting 4 hours of sleep every night. And then there was Winston Churchill. He was the Prime Minister of England and he owed all his success to sleep. He even kept a bed in the House of Parliament and he took a lot of regular naps in there. So if you think about something often, it will become a belief. You will believe it to be true. So how you think about sleep is going to have an effect on what you believe. Now, we use language that subliminally tells us how we value sleep. So we use language like, I don't have time to sleep. Now, I have been guilty of this as well. So other things that we say might be, I don't have time for sleep, or I'll sleep when I'm dead. That's a typical one as well. I'll sleep when I'm dead. Many people don't think very much about sleep. And some people think that it's not really important to them. It's boring. Nothing happens at night while I'm sleeping. So people don't really give sleep much time. So we have to gain a new perspective of sleep by understanding sleep in order to value it and to feel it as important, because it's only then that we're going to start prioritizing it, when we make it important, and when we value it. So when you value something, you're going to respect it. So sleep is an important part of your daily routine. It's actually part of your lifestyle, and you spend 1/3 of your life doing it. So when you think from that perspective, isn't it worth considering doing it better? So we cannot survive without sleep. In fact, we can only go 12 days or so without sleep, and after that we will die. And scientists don't know why it is that extreme and why it's so vital for life. Now, 90% of us don't really have the life that we really want, and 90% of us are suffering unnecessarily. And did you know 90% of illnesses and diseases are all stress related as well? So imagine if you could be more creative to come up with solutions easily, and have more energy to be more productive, and have clarity to think more clearly and make better decisions. What would your life be like? So it's all about habits. Things that we do repeatedly every day until it becomes habitual. And small changes can make a big difference. And it's just a small change that you can do every day, because we want to make this as simple as possible and as easy as possible. Because, normally we don't like changes. We like to stay within our comfort zone. So small changes that we can do repeatedly, and then this will become automatic and it'll be programmed into us. So how do we change this problem of not getting a good night's sleep? So what are your beliefs about sleep? And do you believe it's okay to go to bed at 1 o'clock in the morning, for example? Or do you believe it's okay to clean your kitchen before you go to bed? Or maybe you believe it's okay to wait until you're absolutely exhausted and then go to bed. Or God forbid, check your emails first before you go to bed. I just want you to take a moment, just take a step back and just ask yourself how you came to this conclusion. Whatever it is that you think about sleep, whatever way it is that you think about sleep, how did you actually come to this conclusion? And what are you complaining about? What's your complaints? Sometimes all it takes is applying a little bit of skepticism to your own belief, believe it or not, so that you can stop to consider about changing your mind. Now, until you sit down and take a hard look at whether reading a half an hour of Twitter jokes or Facebook rants before you go to bed, if that's really what you want to do with your life, no number of articles on the deleterious effects of screens on your sleep will help you out. When you change your thoughts and apply new daily habits, you will successfully adapt into a routine and align to a natural daily rhythm. And this is what's going to enable you to get the sleep that you need. So it's all about aligning to this circadian rhythm. I'm going to be talking about that later on as well. Because our body does like to work in cycles. We are habitual creatures and we do work in rhythms and cycles. So it's really important that we align to this. And I have a quote here from Napoleon Hill: "You are the master of your own destiny. You can influence, direct, and control your own environment, and you can make your life what you want it to be." I love all these quotes. I have a lot of these quotes here. So let's have a look at why sleep is so important. Well, it's going to restore your body physically. So when you're in a deep phase of sleep, you are going to be doing all the healing and repairing, all the tissue repairs. If you have any injuries in your body, or our body does a lot of work during the daytime, so there's going to be an awful lot of byproduct release toxins in the body. And these are all going to have to be rid out of the body. Also, all the tissue repairs from any muscle activity or any physical activities during the daytime. So all this has to be restored. On a physical level, your immune system is also working very hard at nighttime. If you're deprived of sleep, your immune system is dramatically deteriorated. So it's really important for your physical health. It's really important for information processing and for your memory as well. So learning. There has been studies done where students have, if they were studying for an exam, and they done studying in the morning and they had a nap, an afternoon nap after their studying, and they found that they were more able to retain the information a lot better and to recall it as well after sleeping, having a short nap after their morning studying. So, and even a good night's sleep as well can help you if you're doing an exam, it's much better than cramming, staying up all night cramming. You find that you may have a mental block for first thing in the morning when you're doing your exam if you stay up cramming all night. And that's because you haven't allowed your brain to do the processes during the nighttime. When you're sleeping. Also your mood as well. So your mood has a massive impact. So we've got a lot of hormones going on in the body at nighttime, serotonin, all these hormones that help to make us feel an awful lot better and to be in better mood as well. So all these hormonal regulations are really important when it comes to our mood. Strengthen the immune system, so we spoke about that. So up to 70% of your immune system can be impeded if you only have up to 4 hours of sleep in one night. And it has been shown in scientific studies as well. Clearing the brain of toxins, this is a really big one and something that's only been discovered in the last number of years. So we do have this toxic buildup in the brain during the daytime. And these toxins are only cleared at nighttime when we're in a deep phase of sleep. So that's super important as well to understand. So let's have a look at what happens when we don't get enough sleep. Well, it's going to dramatically weaken the immune system, and it's going to increase your risk of cancer and other diseases as well. Because as I said, if you only have up to 4 hours of sleep in any one night, it's going to impede your immune system by up to 70%. And all your fighter cells, your killer cells, are been made, your T cells, these are what's been made at nighttime when you're sleeping. Also, your blood sugar is going to be raised. So if you've deficient sleep, so if you've only slept for about 6 hours out of 7 nights, so if you've slept for 6 hours over a week, for each night 6 hours, you could actually be classed as a pre-diabetic. And this has been shown in studies. You can develop Alzheimer's or be more prone to it if you have a long period of not sleeping well. It has been shown in the patients with Alzheimer's that they've an accumulated toxin in their brain. So I said earlier that the toxins are flushed out of the brain at nighttime when we're sleeping in a deep phase of sleep. So if we're not getting enough of this deep sleep, it's having an impact on how well the brain clears itself out at nighttime. And Alzheimer's, interestingly enough, is the 7th leading cause of death in the world. So that's a big one. Blocked coronary arteries as well. So poor sleep has been linked to high blood pressure as well. So and clogging and hardening of the arteries as well, leading to heart failure, heart attacks, stroke, diabetes, and obesity as well. So it can lead on to that. Weight gain is another one as well. So sleep deprivation can cause changes to hormones that regulate your hunger and your appetite. And actually, I'm doing a talk on sleep for helping you with weight loss. I'll be doing that next week up in Dublin, so watch out for that one. There is an awful lot of information about weight gain, and how you can lose weight effectively through a good night's sleep, and it's really all down to the hormonal changes and the regulation and the cycle of the hormones. Really, really an interesting one. Depression and anxiety as well. So both of these really go hand in hand with sleep deprivation, with sleep problems causing anxiety or depression, and depression or anxiety inhibiting sleep as well. So it's like a double-edged sword. And there's an awful lot of us that would wake up in the morning times, ranting and not wanting anyone to speak to them. And this is not a way we want to start our day off, basically in bad mood. And this is a funny slide here. I mean, does this reflect any mornings that you've ever woken up when you have not been in good form? You just don't want anyone to talk to you. You want them to keep out your way. Don't even ask you any questions. And all you want is your cup of coffee first thing in the morning. So I'm sure an awful lot of you can relate to this. I certainly have felt that way some mornings. And even though I do optimize my sleep, there are an odd night that I would not get a great night's sleep. And, it happens because life happens. But we can do an awful lot to dramatically improve and optimize our overall sleep. So let's have a look at some of the physical effects. So sleep can affect our blood sugars, as I said. And your blood glucose control can also affect your sleep. And it's really a vicious cycle. So blood sugar increases with lack of sleep. So sleepless nights is also a form of stress on the body. And this can increase your cortisol levels. So this is your stress hormone. So higher blood sugar means less fat metabolism in the nighttime. Okay. When your blood sugar is really high, your kidneys as well, your kidneys are going to try and eliminate it. So this is when you may need to get up and go to the toilet during the nighttime, or you may, now watch out for that during the daytime as well, obviously. So you'll find you're going to the toilet quite an awful lot if you've a lot of blood glucose issues in general. Now, if your blood glucose is too low, hypoglycemic, you may also wake up during the nighttime as well, because every cell in your body needs sugar to work properly. Even your brain needs glucose and that, and your brain actually takes priority when it comes to glucose. So when they drop too low, it triggers cortisol to regulate your sugar levels. And your cortisol, what does that do? Is your stress hormone. It's going to wake you up. It's going to stimulate the brain. Now, studies have shown that individuals who consistently do have a bad night's sleep, they're more likely to develop conditions linked to diabetes and heart disease. Now, the growth hormone. So the growth hormone is a very big one. You actually need an increase in growth hormone to burn fat, and low levels of fasting levels of insulin. So you need both. Now, your growth hormone is more. You have more growth hormone in young children because they're growing and they're developing. So they absolutely need their sleep in particular. And the growth hormone, the growth hormone is only released during a deep phase of sleep. So it is abundant in young children and teenagers because they're developing and growing. So the growth hormone is also known as the youth hormone as well. So it's an antioxidant as well, anti-aging hormone. So the growth hormone is a super one to make sure that you're getting good amounts of that released in your body. So you definitely need to get your deep phase of sleep, get into a deep sleep for that. So your immune system, inflammation and detoxification. Well, when our bodies is stressed, we have more inflammation. Now, inflammation is a natural process, but it's when there's too much of, like anything else, too much of anything is not a good thing. So too much inflammation is going to have an adverse effect on the body. Now, behind so many diseases and problems in the body, inflammation, there's always some element of inflammation behind it. So we want to reduce as much inflammation in the body at any one time as possible. And sleep will do this. So sleep does this through all the detoxification process. So you may find that if you have an illness or if you're not well, you may need to sleep more, or maybe even have a sleep or a rest during the daytime as well. Your body needs lots of rest when it comes to the immune system, especially if the immune system is fighting something. But on a general level, we need to keep it strong to protect us. Now, our gut health is a really important one as well. Our gut flora it cannot be underestimated. Lack of sleep, it can adversely affect your gut flora or your microbiome, and this causes stress on the body, which we know reduces your gut flora significantly. Now, on the flip side, if your gut flora, it's also called a microbiome, as I said, or it's friendly bacteria, if it's not thriving from your lifestyle and environment, it may be the cause of your sleepless nights. So your gut is connected to your brain via the vagus nerve. So the vagus nerve is the main cranial nerve that runs through the body, and it goes through all the main organs in your body, and it's part of your nervous system. So serotonin and melatonin, these are two main neurotransmitters, and they help to regulate your body's sleep cycle or your circadian rhythm. So again, circadian rhythm, really important. And we do have hormones. We have like daytime hormones and nighttime hormones, and they're all part of a rhythm. And they're primarily made in the gut. So 90% of serotonin, for example, is made in the gut. So it's really important that we do have a healthy gut system. Now, this is a study from the Journal of Sleep Disorders. 2,000 participants took part in this, and they slept for fewer than 5 hours per night, and they were more clinically identified. They were more likely to be clinically identified as having diabetes, and this was from 5 hours a night of sleep. And testosterone, now this is a sex hormone. Now, a recent study by the National Heart, Lung and Blood Institute found testosterone levels dropped significantly in men who don't get enough sleep, equivalent to aging of 10 to 15 years. And we know testosterone deficiency is linked to lower energy, poor concentration, fatigue, and decreased strength. Now, in men in particular, they need to have a block of 3 hours of sleep, at least 3 hours of sleep, to have sufficient levels of testosterone. And testosterone, we know as well, is also linked to optimizing your fat burning in your body as well. So that's another factor of testosterone as well. Donal is just asking me where my Dublin talk is. Donal, the Dublin talk is on the 27th of February. It's a Wednesday night. That's the 27th of February, I think it is. Yeah. It's on the Louis Fitzgerald Hotel. And it's downstairs. It's in one of the suites downstairs. It's on at 7:30 p.m. to 9 p.m. So it's an hour and a half in the Louis Fitzgerald Hotel next Wednesday evening. And I'm going to be talking all about how to get a good night's sleep for weight loss. So I'm going to be looking at all the hormones in relation to that as well, Donald. So it's a really, really good one. A lot of people have asked me about that one. So really, really good one to come along to. And I'll give you the links actually. It's on my website, joannecallahan.com. If you just go to the events and you'll see it there, Donald. joannecallahan.com, and just look under events, you'll see it. And it's actually on the homepage as well. Okay, so brain function as well. So we spoke about mood and behaviors and how it can affect all that. We had a look at the serotonin levels, all these neurotransmitters as well that have an effect on our emotions and on our behavior as well. Our response times and our reactions times. they're significantly reduced, or sorry, we take longer to react. So for example, if we're driving a car and somebody runs out in front of the car, it will take us a split second longer to actually put our foot on the brake, and so our response times it takes a little bit longer for us to react, and this could be detrimental. We spoke about how the detoxification works in the brain and all these toxins in the brain. So it quite literally clears out the brain. And we also had to look at learning and memory. And these are really, really, really important because, you know, you can optimize how you learn. And quite often, if I do a lot of studying, or I like to take maybe a little nap afterwards, just a 20-minute nap afterwards, after I've done an awful lot of studying, if I've taken an awful lot of information at home, if I'm working on a project, and I find I'm not trying to cram it in all day long, because it just overloads your brain and it's not giving your brain time to sink in and to, you know, be put onto that slate, if you like, and then having a really good night's sleep that night. So that really helps with all your learning, helps you to train your all your learning, and to be able to recall it as well, and help to put that into your long-term memory. So it's only when we're in a deep phase of sleep that all that we have learned during the daytime, it gets transferred, if you like, over to our long-term memory, and then to enable us to recall it then later on. So learning and memory really, really depends on how well we're resting and how well we're sleeping. Really, really important one. And here there was a study, actually, the School of Medicine, University of Pennsylvania. They took, it was just 5 college students, and they were sleep deprived for 24 hours, and they found their learning and memory ability was reduced by 40%. So that's a whopping number. And there's been several studies actually done quite like that as well, to show that. Now, holistic health. So the reason I have this up here as a strategy, because we need to understand that, you know, diet and exercise is really important as well in our lifestyles. And stress is another one as well. So stress, how we manage our stress during the daytime, because how we are during the daytime will determine how well we sleep at nighttime. So stress management, or relaxation, how we relax, is really important. And taking enough rest during the day. Like I said earlier, when I study an awful lot, or if I'm learning an awful lot of information, I like to take a nap in the afternoon, or even meditate, but really just to slow down the brain waves, because when our brain waves are at a certain state, this is the optimal time for learning and retaining information. So this is why it's super important that we don't cram all day long and having the brain waves really busy all day long, because it's not giving the brain time to let that sink in. And it goes with other things as well during the daytime. We need to rest. We need to give the body rest during the daytime. And we often might find that during the afternoon, part of the circadian cycle, there is a slump around lunchtime. Now, a lot of people think it's because we've eaten something. No, it's not necessarily. We automatically feel a wave of tiredness coming over us around lunchtime. And some people in different countries take their siesta break. It's super important that we do take a rest here. Now, if you are sleep deprived, you will find that you will be absolutely exhausted and you cannot keep your eyes open. You'll find this part of the day very, very difficult, especially if you are sleep deprived. And that is one of the signs of sleep deprivation. So considering exercise and optimizing your exercise, optimizing your food intake, because these are like all your ingredients. You know, we need vitamins, we need minerals for all our neurotransmitters to work and all the processes in the body to work. So we do need food for this. This is your fuel, if you like, a fuel for your car. And we also need exercise as well, because exercise releases all those endorphins, all the feel-good hormones. And it has been shown that if you exercise earlier in the morning, so if you exercise first thing in the morning, it has been shown to help regulate your daytime and nighttime hormones more effectively. Now, I know people like to exercise at nighttime as well. That's fine, but not energetic exercises, because if you do very vigorous exercises, like I've had clients come to me and they'll have done a 5K run or something like that. They do that in the evening time to make themselves tired so that they'll sleep that night. Now, that is a big mistake, because you're going to be wired and you're going to be exhausted, wired and tired. So you're going to have adrenaline running through your body. Also, your core body temperature is going to be raised as well. And your core body temperature needs to be low or lower at nighttime before you go to bed. So this is one of the states the body needs to be in before it goes to sleep at nighttime. So it's really important that we do understand our health as holistic and taking sleep into account in with this as well, because I gave you an example earlier on. If you're exercising and you're trying to lose weight and you're not sleeping very well, you're sleep deprived, your weight is going to come off lean muscle mass as opposed to fat loss. And that's ultimately where we want to lose the weight from. We don't want to lose weight from good muscles. So this is why sleep really ties all this together, but we do need the ingredients from all the other lifestyles as well, and it works holistically. So if you maybe do exercises first thing in the morning to optimize all your hormones and getting daylight first thing in the morning, and then consider eating the right foods. So whole foods, just sensible foods. You don't have to go on any diet plan necessarily. It's really just about sensible eating and eating the right foods, whole foods, foods that grow basically, and vegetables as well. Fruit and vegetables, but I tend to go more with fruit or more with vegetables, because fruits do contain a lot of sugar as well. I know it's natural sugars, and I know diabetics there's certain fruits that they can't eat too much of as well. So there's that to consider. So holistic health, consider all these other areas of health and what you are doing. So your actionable step here could be to take even 5 minutes of exercise first thing in the morning, and that will really get everything going. It will get your cortisol levels up, and it will get all your endocrine system working and optimized throughout the day. And also it will get your body in sync with the circadian rhythm as well. So that's why doing 5 minutes of exercise first thing in the morning, and then eating healthily to get all your minerals and your vitamins required to make all those neurotransmitters and every other metabolic process in the body as well. And then also managing how you are during the daytime, making sure you're taking rest. Now, you can meditate, do yoga, whatever it is that you do to relax. But you know what? Just sitting down for 5 minutes every once in a while during the daytime and resting and prioritizing that as well can massively have an impact. So there is an awful lot of stress in the world at the moment. We're leading very busy lifestyles. We're all very busy. And, an awful lot of the time I hear people saying, oh, there's not enough time in the day. So this is a common belief. And you know what? We all have the same amount of time in the day. And if you rest more during the day, you'll find you have more time. I know it sounds ironic, but it's true. You're not going to be in a busy mess, and you're going to be more organized, and you're going to sleep better at nighttime as well. Massive, just something simple that you can do, and it will have a massive impact as well. So yeah, so we there isn't enough time in a day, so we generally do seem to work against the clock all the time. We just seem to work against the clock, and we're always watching the time, and it's putting unnecessary pressure on us, and we feel pressurized. This is pressure that we're putting on ourselves all the time, again adding to stress. So we're going to have a look at how sleep works, and I'm going to show you again the framework basically of sleeping and how we sleep during the nighttime and what happens at each stage during the nighttime as well, and why it's so important. So we sleep in cycles. We sleep in cycles. So we might have about 4 or 5 different cycles. Each cycle takes about 90 minutes. And there's 4 stages in a sleep cycle. Now, some schools of thought there's stage 1, 2, 3, and stage 4, and stage 5 would be your REM sleep, and dependent on. But if you do see stage 3 and 4, stage 3 and 4 are actually the same. Stage 3 and 4 are deep sleep. So in this example I have here, I just have stage 1, 2, 3. So this is your non-REM sleep. This is like your passive sleep. And really stages 1 and 2 is your light stages of sleep. It's where you're gradually getting more and more relaxed, okay? And by stage 2, this This is where you'll have switched off from your external environment. All your senses stop working. So you're kind of going inwards now, and you're going into a deep phase of sleep. Now, when you're in your deep phase of sleep, this is when you're absolutely unconscious and you have your delta waves and your delta waves in the brain. This is how it's depicted in a sleep lab. So your growth hormone is released here, and this is where all the healing and all the repairing is done, all the tissue regeneration through youth hormone. And this is why an awful lot of children sleep a long time, because they're developing and growing. So this is one of the reasons why they sleep quite an awful lot. Now, going into REM sleep, so this is where we dream. Now, REM sleep is an important aspect of our sleep cycle, because this is like if our mental, this is like for our mental health. This is where all our emotional health is taken care of. So some people have these wild, weird dreams, okay? And what happens there is your body is trying to make sense out of something that's deep in your subconscious. So when you're dreaming, there may be some parts that that you may remember, and then there's gaps, and the dream part, this weird dream, is filling in those gaps. It's trying to make sense. Your brain is always trying to make sense out of what's going on, because your brain always has to reason, it has to understand what's going on. That's why we tend to give ourselves a story whenever something happens. We make up a story in our brain because we have to have a story. You know, if somebody says something to you funny, we make up a story in our brain that, oh, she said that to me because she doesn't like me, or because she thinks I'm not great, or whatever. And it could be, you could be completely wrong, but that's your brain making up a story in your brain. And now that's just a really quick example, but this is how our brain makes up stories. And part of our REM sleep is trying to make sense of stuff that's gone on that day or that week or whatever in recent times. Now, sometimes we remember our dreams when we wake up, but then we forget them fairly quickly. And this is because the brainwave state is changing, but also our cortisol levels are increasing as well. So it's making us more alert, and it's increasing our brain activity. So there are the different stages. Now, it's important to know as well, in between each cycle, so after 90 minutes, we start this whole process again. So in between each cycle, we may wake up, but only for a couple of seconds, and then we may go back to sleep again. So if you're rolling over and you vaguely remember rolling over, some people say to me, oh, I keep waking up, but I can go back asleep again or whatever. So that's perfectly normal, because an awful lot of the time we do actually wake up during the night time, but a lot of the time we're not actually conscious of it because it happens so quick. But we do reach a very light stage of sleep during the nighttime where we do wake up, but we go back asleep. It's part of the whole process. And here's an example of some of the brainwaves. So you can see the delta brainwaves are very slow, and this is when we're in a deep phase of sleep. Now I'm just going to talk about some sleep problems that people may have. So what if there are other problems or other issues that's interfering with you getting to sleep at nighttime? So sleep problems or conditions that prevent us from getting good quality sleep can occur many times throughout our lifetime. So pregnant women, menopause, elderly people as well, or teenagers. And you could experience losing your job or some inconvenience that's going to cause you an upset and a readjustment that you need to do in your life. And this can cause an issue with your sleep, and temporarily. And you could have an illness, or maybe somebody else in the family that you care for has an illness. And maybe you could have a snoring partner who could be keeping you awake. And this happened to me. And did you know that if you have a snoring partner, you can lose up to 1 hour of good quality sleep each night? Pretty significant. Now, just touching on snoring, and I would just want to highlight this one. We breathe normally during the nighttime. However, there are a few things that may affect this very natural process. The brain needs a lot of oxygen, even at nighttime. And a nighttime breathing disorder is called obstructive sleep dyspnea, and it can interrupt your sleep and lower the quality of sleep, and it can make you wake up several times during the nighttime, and sometimes you mightn't even be aware of it. And the fact is, you will not sleep undisturbed long enough to get uh, deep sleep, because you keep waking up. It's very fragmented. And with this type of apnea, you're depriving your body of oxygen. So it's going to give you brain fog in the morning. It's going to make you feel like you're just not alert, you're not focused. And if you leave this untreated over a long period of time, it's going to lead to, or it may lead to, more than likely, a higher risk of obesity, and then type 2 diabetes, heart attack, stroke. It just goes on and on. Now, sleep apnea is, if you do have a chronic snore, somebody who snores very loudly, do get that checked out, because a lot of people who do present with sleep apnea have chronic snoring as well. So if you do have somebody who you may suspect, do get it checked out, because you could actually potentially save their life, because there's a lot going on when you have sleep apnea. So I just really wanted to highlight that one. Now, your environment. So what controls your sleep. So your sleep pressure and your circadian rhythm, or your sleep drive. So so your circadian rhythm is this 24-hour biological process, and we are in sync with the circadian rhythm, or at least when we are in sync, this is when we are sleeping perfectly fine. We've got loads of energy during the daytime. We're optimally living. Now, our sleep drive is sleep pressure. So the longer you're awake, basically, the more tired you're going to be, and the more physical activity you're doing during the daytime, this is going to build up your sleep pressure as well. So the higher your sleep pressure, the more inclined you're going to go with sleep. So it's really a cue for your body to tell you when you need to sleep or have a rest, okay? Now, your environment can influence these things quite an awful lot. So stress is a big one. Toxins in our environment, the foods that we're eating. If we're eating a lot of sugary foods, there's lots of things in the environment that can have an adverse effect on our circadian rhythm. Even people that we're with, even people that we're hanging around with. Like I said earlier on, if there's a lot of people that you spend most of your time with that are very negative people, it's going to drain your energy, basically, and that's your external environment as well. Also, the house that you live in, is it cluttered? Do you have a cluttered environment? This is going to drain you as well. This is going to have a stress on you as well. If you imagine, if you have a really clear, cluttered-free room, bedroom, house, how much freer you feel, how much better you feel. You do feel better when you've a clutter-free room, especially your bedroom, So environmental influences. So consider how your bedroom is. Consider, do you have soft lighting in your bedroom as opposed to big bright lights? So bright is another factor that drives our circadian rhythm. It's a biggie. It's an absolute biggie. So we need to make sure we're getting morning light first thing in the morning to reset our circadian rhythm, and then low levels of light at nighttime. So low soft lamps in your bedroom at nighttime. Because this actually helps to turn on your melatonin, which is your sleep hormone. So melatonin is a very important factor in the sleep cycle. So you'd have your cortisol levels and your melatonin levels. Cortisol being highest in the morning time, and it gradually drops as the day goes on, and then your melatonin is highest in the evening time. And your melatonin is what gets you to sleep, but it is more importantly what keeps you asleep as you transition through all the different stages and sleep cycles during the nighttime. So melatonin is a really important hormone that you need to have ample amounts of. Now, as we grow older, our melatonin supplies are not as much. So we need to really, this is why we really need to, when we're youthful, we think we're invincible. And we need to consider this from a young age, and really, teach our children as well, our next generation, that, it's really important to get as much sleep, to really respect and value your sleep. We need to teach this to our children. So the more optimally you sleep from an earlier age, the less impact it's going to have on you as you get older. So a few tips for better sleep. Get sunshine first thing in the morning. And I know I'm living in Ireland. Most of you, I think, are living in Ireland. I know we don't get much sunshine, but if you can't get out outdoors, it still helps to reset your circadian rhythm. If you do happen to get a sunny day, don't wear your sunglasses for the first few minutes anyway. In the morning time, you can wear the shades as the evening goes on, as the later it goes on during the daytime. But as early in the day, try not to wear your shades, because your eyes are light receptors, and this is where your body clock picks up the light from, which determines your circadian rhythm. So getting sunshine first thing in the morning, creating a wind down routine, because we are habitual creatures. So we do need to create a routine to wind down in the evening times, because our sleep is not like an on-off switch. It happens gradually, and we need to slow everything right down. We need to cool the body down as well. Turn your devices off. I say at least 2 hours, because for every hour that you have your device on before you go to bed, it's going to affect 30 minutes of your melatonin. Your melatonin is your sleep hormone, so it's going to reduce that by that amount. So it's going to make it, so if you're on your devices right before bed, it's going to make it really difficult to get asleep. And if you do fall asleep fairly fast, it's a sign that you're sleep deprived, but you may not get into that deep sleep because you don't have enough melatonin. So it's really important that you have enough melatonin. Also, these devices, this blue light, and they stimulate your brain, and it makes it very hard to put these devices down. You have all this dopamine hormone going on in the brain, which makes it very addictive and very hard to put down the mobile phones and tablets or whatever. So at least 2 hours before you go to bed, just turn them off. Avoid caffeine and alcohol where possible, especially later in the evening time as well. And wake up at the same time every day. That's really, really important, because, again, it's down to routine, and it's a cue for the body. When you wake up at the same time and go to bed at the same time in the evening as well. So just to summarize, so we had to look at why sleep is important. We had to look at understanding sleep. And when you understand the process, so there is so much more information that I could give you on this, but as you can appreciate, there is so much more. There's so much more deeper that we could go into this. And I gave you an overview of as much as I could. So understanding sleep, it helps you to respect sleep a bit more and to value sleep a bit more. And really, hopefully now you're going to say to yourself, oh God, and it's not to scare you, it's just to impress upon you that, sleep is vitally important for your overall health, for your relationships, and for your mood and everything, brain function. It has so much impact on your whole lifestyle. So now that you understand a lot of the information that I gave you, you can appreciate now how important sleep is. So it's the same with everything else. You need to know and understand the process before you can give it any importance, before you can respect it. And then you'd be more inclined to make changes, to make it happen, to make it work for you. We had a look at stress and how stress can impact your sleep. So as I said, your sleep starts from the time you wake up basically in the morning, because how you are during the daytime is going to determine how you are at nighttime. So it's really important to rest. We don't rest enough. We had a look at how sleep works, the science of sleep. So we had a look at all the cycles and what happens at nighttime. And then we had a look at some of the problems, in particular snoring, and there's like restless legs, there's night terrors, there's lots of different problems that can happen as a result. And some of them can be temporary, and some of them could be ongoing over a long period of time as well. And then we had a look at the environments. We had a look at this in relation to the circadian rhythm and how that can affect how your environment can affect or throw off your circadian rhythm. So that's actually a really big area as well. I mean, that goes into so much more about toxins as well, and how it can influence your gut bacteria. We had a look at gut bacteria. That's really important, and your environment can And stress all can have an effect on your microbiome. And this is where 80-90% of your serotonin is made. And we need serotonin to make our melatonin. So that's really, really important. So I'm going to do a Q&A now shortly in just a few minutes, guys. But if it's okay with you now, I just want to share with you this offer that I said I'd share with you earlier on, if that's okay with you. So, the reason why I do all this work is because I want to improve your life, and this is not just about you; it's about everybody around you, and more importantly, about your children as well. So, so if you do have children, or if you know anyone that has children, well, our children are our next generation, and we want to create a better lifestyle and an environment for our children. So, do you want your life to be, your life to be for the better, and your children as well? Do you want to have more energy to play with your children, and spend more time with your children, that you're not always rushing around trying to get things done, not enough time in the day? Or maybe you want to, be more productive in work and see more results in work. And we can do this when we get a better night's sleep. When you get a better night's sleep, you can be so much more productive, you can be so much more better form, you can relate to people so much better, and people will get you so much better, and you can contribute a lot more better as well. When you're sleep deprived, you just don't want to talk to anyone, so you're not sharing. So ultimately, this is all about your power, because only you can make the decision and choose. It's your freedom, it's your life. So this is about empowering you. So as I said, I gave you all the information. There's so much more information, but this is about you, empowering you to find out more information, and continually, because it doesn't end here. There's so much more that you can do. So I have a program. It's a 12-week live group online program. There's 6 modules in this program, and each module has its own Q&A as well. So this is it's like an inner circle group. And module 1 is Wake Up to Sleep. So in module 1, I take you through a process. We do journaling. I have a journal for you. I take you through a process where we really journal, and we really understand what it is that we are doing as individuals when it comes to sleep. What are our habits? What are we doing? We have a look at that, and then we have a look at introducing new habits. And we journal all these, and we measure them all, and there are always improvements, especially when you follow through on this. And it's all about taking simple actions, because if you do want too difficult or too diverse, you're not going to be inclined to do it. We want simple changes to make this effective. So in module 1, it's all about, again, understanding why sleep is so vitally important. And I go into even so much more details. And there's so much scientific studies about all this as well that backs all this up, why sleep is like probably the most important aspect that you can do for your life. In module 2, we go in depth into exercising, and the optimal time for exercise, and everything that goes on in the body during exercise, and that can contribute. And we have a look at weight loss as well in conjunction with that. We have a look at the right foods for sleep. We have a look at not just for sleep, but optimizing your stress levels as well. And really, foods that help to optimize your immune system. And this all relates to sleep as well when we're sleeping at nighttime, because we need all these ingredients, if you like, for when we're sleeping at nighttime, for all those immune system cells to be made efficiently. And then we also have a look at stress management as well, and we do have some meditations and relaxation techniques that we do as well, because this is a super important area, and really important to rest during the daytime as well, and to mind how we're it basically is making us more resilient to stress, because stress is going to happen. We're always going to have it in our lives. Life happens. So it's really all about helping to make you more resilient when it comes to stress. We have a look at the science of sleep. So we go more in depth into the different levels of sleep at nighttime. And, if you're waking up at a particular hour during the night, why is that? And, are you getting very fragmented sleep? Why is that? So we have a look at all of that. If you're having difficulty getting a sleep at nighttime, we have a look at all that as well. And actually, it's interesting. I done a poll recently, and most people said that, it was 56% of people said the biggest frustration they have when it comes to getting a good night's sleep is their head is just full of thoughts at nighttime. So that's a big problem. So getting a sleep at nighttime. Sleep problems. So there's a range of sleep problems that you can encounter over a lifetime. So we have a look at so many of those, even when it comes to children as well. So there's so much more in sleep problems that we have a look at. And environmental influences. So we have a really big look in the circadian rhythm and what drives the circadian rhythm. And primarily, light is probably the first one. And I think food would be the second one as well, because our body, if you think back hundreds of years ago when we were living in caves and that, we only ate during the daytime, and we've evolved from that over all those years. So our body is only ever used to eat during the daytime. So our body, this is a cue that's daytime when we're eating during the daytime, and there's so much more that goes into. So environmental influence is an awful lot involved in there, and we have a look at sleep hygiene. This is really important. So we have a look at the do's and the don'ts. One big one, people drink a lot of coffee throughout the daytime, smoking cigarettes, having a nightcap at nighttime before they go to bed, and then the wind down routine as well. Some people, they clean their kitchen before they go to bed, and just get straight into bed. So we have to knock out all those bad habits. Really, we do, and we cover all that in module 6 in the sleep hygiene. So we also have Q&A calls. So we spend a whole hour talking about all your questions. Now you can ask me them privately, or you can ask them online as we're doing our online call. Some people like to ask questions anonymously. That's fine. So you can email me for that. And sometimes I bring in some commonly asked questions as well. There's so much questions that are asked around this whole area. Now, in addition to that, you get access to a private community. So it's a private group. It's for members only. And in here, we can share what's going on with us through the modules. We can share whatever it is that's coming up for you guys. And if you have any questions, again, I can answer them in there. It's a great resource to have in there, and just really to track all the progress that you're making. I'm going to give you some strategies, a checklist strategies that you can have a look at it as well. And foods, we talked about foods. So some of the top foods that's good for helping you to sleep at nighttime as well. And interestingly enough, probably one of the top ones that I find very helpful is kefir yogurt, because it contains calcium, has your gut bacteria in it as well. And we need calcium to make melatonin in the brain. It's a good one for it, and it contains tryptophan as well, which is required for making melatonin. So it goes into quite a lot of all that detail as well. So kefir yogurt it's an organic, natural yogurt, probiotic yogurt. I think you can get it in supermarkets as well. Kiefer, kefir yogurt. It's so much better than natural yogurt. It contains more strands of the good bacteria. So anyway, I give you a list of all the good foods to help you sleep better at nighttime. You get some meditations. It's really important that you start your day off well, and also you end your day well as well. I am a clinical aromatherapist, so I will be giving you some aromatherapy recipes to help you sleep better at nighttime. Some of my favorite blends as well. So you'll be getting a couple of blend recipes as well. And essential oils are so powerful, and just some oils that are very safe for children to use as well. So I'll be going into all of that. You get a 3-part mini video series as well. And I really want to guarantee results, so there's quite a lot that I'm giving here. So I am doing a live workshop in April. I was actually scheduled at the end of March, but it's now moved to April. So I'm doing a workshop in April. If you join up to this program, you will get a free ticket to this workshop. So you will get to come to this workshop for free. when you buy this program, this 12-week live program. I'm going to give you all the dates shortly of when this program is about to start. You will get, well, normally in most programs you get 1 year access, but I'm going to give you lifetime membership. So when you buy this, you will have all the videos. Everything is an MP3, audio files, converted to audio files. So if you prefer to listen in your car just to save on your data, you can listen to an audio, or you can watch video, or you can download the transcripts if you prefer to read it. So whatever your preferred medium is, you can access all that, and you will have them for lifetime. Now the value of this program is, now I have it in dollars because I am selling this online, but today I am doing this for a special price of $297, so $297. So if you're living in Ireland, there's a few of you on there, that will obviously be, I don't know, 250 euro or something like that, whatever it converts to, I'm not sure. I am going to put the offer up here, so you should be able to see it on your screen. Okay, you should be able to see it on your screen there now. If you click on that, you'll be able to go straight into the offer. Now, if you are watching this on the replay, you won't be able to see that. I will bring you into the screen in just a moment to show it to you, but it's empoweringsleepsuccess.com. That's where the offer is, empoweringsleepsuccess.com. So if you're on the replay, just go to that link, empoweringsleepsuccess.com. Now, for the people on the live call here tonight, if you take action before midnight tonight, so I personally will be in bed. So it depends on where you are in the world, or if you're a night owl. But if you take action tonight and sign up for this tonight, I'll give you a free 20-minute sleep strategy call with me as well, in addition to all of that as well. So you'll get a free 20-minute sleep strategy call, so you can ask me anything that you want, or any concerns or anything that you want, you can ask me on that call. So this is only if you sign up before the end of midnight tonight, Irish time, midnight. So you've 4 hours or so to do that. Here's just some testimonials. Doug Gordon, I don't know if anyone knows Doug Gordon. He is a radio presenter on Dublin City FM. He's also a life coach and many other things, an international speaker. But he has a program called Inspirational People, Inspirational Stories. And I was on his radio program. And he basically said that I guarantee Joanne can help you. She's brilliant at wellness and she's a wonderful lady. It was a fantastic interview. It's recorded. And I think it's up on my website somewhere if you want to listen back on that. But Doug Gordon. And Pat Slashery, Joanne has an incredible amount of knowledge. She really understands her clients' needs and can always come up with a solution specifically for each individual. I highly recommend a consultation with her, and she truly cares about serving her clients. And Pat Slashery was my mentor for almost 2 years. He's an international speaker, business consultant and mentor. And this is actually one that I just pulled down today from Karina Murray, and Karina Murray is an amazing lady. She has organised the Apneoa school, which is a worldwide school platform for school children, and it's a platform all about wellness and mindfulness, and basically helping with mental health and emotional health. And I am proud to be on her program as well. So Karina Murray says, if anyone is struggling to sleep, you have got to check out this lady, Joanne Callahan. She has the knowledge and she can seriously help you. She's a great lady, Karina Murray. Leslie Feeker, who he's done over $100 million in sales. He lives in Canada. And I was delighted to speak on stage with him last July. And he says, attend one of Joanne's events and you will come away amazed at what she knows about sleep and what you can learn about sleep. So Leslie Feeger is a very important, very lovely, lovely man. Now, so this is all that you are getting. This is everything that I went through. These are all the things that you're going to get. And actually, my seminar that I have on next week, you'll get a free ticket to that as well. You get a free ticket to my seminar on the 27th of February in Dublin. as well, and I'll be speaking about weight loss in relation to sleep, how good night's sleep can help you with weight loss. So it's $297. So you can click on that offer, or you can go to empoweringsleepsuccess.com if you are on the replay. Here's all the dates. It starts on the 4th of March. So the 4th of March, there's an introduction call. So basically, I will be going through all the rigmaroles and introducing you to the program. And then we will officially start on the 11th of March. And we will have our first Module 1 class. Each call takes typically maybe an hour, maybe just over an hour. And it's all recorded. So you can come on the call live, and you can come on and ask any questions live. And you can catch the replay, and you will get all the material that goes with that. And each of the recordings will be converted into audio and a transcript. So there you have it, folks. So I'm going to just see if there's any questions there. If somebody was asking me, somebody asked me, can you sleep too much? And when should I go to bed? When is the right time to go to bed? And can I sleep too little? So they're questions that I get asked quite an awful lot. So yes, you can sleep too much. And it actually, again, this has an impact on your circadian rhythm. So ideally, we are meant to sleep between 7 and 9 hours as adults. But if we sleep too much, we're cutting into that circadian rhythm, and we are ineffectively, we're not activating our daytime hormones, and it's really setting us backwards down when it comes to sleep and going to bed again at nighttime. Also, it can leave us feeling groggy, and we don't seem very enthused. And depression has been linked quite an awful lot to people who sleep quite an awful lot as well. When is the best time to go to bed? Best time to go to bed? Well, really, it depends. A lot of people ask me this question. The best time to go to bed is, what you can do is go to bed at your normal hour, and do this on the weekend if you're not working, if you don't have to be up for work or for anything in the morning. And go to bed, know what time you went to bed at, and know whatever time you wake up at. That's the number of hours of sleep that you need. Now, waking up naturally without an alarm clock, that's the number of hours that you typically need. So if your day is socially determined, so if you need to get up at 7 o'clock for work, for example, and you need 7 hours of sleep, you need to go to bed then at 12 midnight. Me personally, I have to go to bed by 10:30. 10:30 is my bedtime. And I need between about 8.5 hours of sleep. I love my sleep. And if I get that, I am working optimally the next day. I find if I go to bed after 12 o'clock, say if there's an occasion on or whatever, and I go to bed after 12 o'clock, I feel like I have a hangover the next day. Even if I get a good 7 hours of sleep, I still feel like I have a hangover the next day. And that's me personally. So it's all about getting to know how your body is, what it is that your body needs. It's getting to know yourself, because we all are individuals, as I said, and we do have different requirements and different needs. So you need to find that out for yourself. Sleeping too little, there's a lot of evidence out there, like that pre-diabetic one. If you're sleeping for 6 hours or less for a whole week, your blood glucose levels will show that you'd be in a state of pre-diabetic. It's been shown on some results, some exams. So it is quite significant. So I don't think I have any other questions. Jonah was asking about the Dublin talk, so that's on the 27th. I just see now what else is going on here. So if anyone else has any questions, I can answer them here in the next minute or two. As you can hear from my voice, I am choking with a cold, so I'm going to go to bed early. And I'm drinking lots of water here as well to hydrate myself. So there's no other questions. So guys, if you go to, I'm going to just share my screen really quickly just so that you can see. Let me see if I can share my screen. Okay, great. Yeah. I'm going to share my screen so you can see, hopefully if this works. Okay, great. Okay, so here's empoweringsleepsuccess.com. Here's the website. Here's where you need to go. And there's a little video there. And here is all the details with all the bonuses that you get. And $297. Now there is payment plans there as well. I meant to say that. So there's 2 different payment plans. You can pay over 2 months or you can pay over 3 months. And that's the page, empoweringsleepsuccess.com. So all the details are there. So there's no other questions, guys. So I'm going to end the call here now. I just want to thank you again for coming on with me this evening. And do take care and do have a good night's sleep tonight. And I hope to talk to you soon. Take care. Good night. Bye-bye.